First of all, let me thank the organizers, eCancer and Dr. Bhavana Suravi, for giving me an opportunity to speak here. Last time I speak in this auditorium was 12 years back when I was a resident in Department of Medical Oncology. And for last 12 years, I am working across the various sectors, including the government sector, that is NAR hospital, and private hospitals and trust hospitals. So basically, I know all the sides of the coin, and based upon that, probably I will give my suggestions for choosing wisely for India for GI cancers. First and foremost, more need not be more always. We all know that FOLFIRINOX for metastatic pancreatic cancer has better results as far as survival is concerned, but given that in the real world in India is very challenging. Most of our patients have low albumin, performance status almost one or sometimes more than one, leading to more toxicity. This regimen unfortunately requires chemotherapy insertion, PICC insertions, which leads to additional cost. Overall toxicity, including mortality due to delayed reporting of febrile neutropenia, is more with FOLFIRINOX in real world in India. And we have a study done by my friends from Tata Memorial, Anant and Dr. Vikas Oswal. It's a retrospective study. What they have shown, they have compared the older regimens of gemcitabine-based regimens, that is GEM plus nab-paclitaxel or single-agent GEM, versus FOLFIRINOX, and what they've shown that there is no difference in median EFS or median OS. In fact, the new regimens required more dose modification as compared to older regimen, and there was no statistical significant difference between the two groups. So I will reserve the FOLFIRINOX for fit patients, and for most of our pancreatic cancer advanced patients are unfortunately not fit. So I will not be hesitant in using the so-called older regimens, that is gemcitabine-based regimens for such patients. Next is risk can be almost equal. Again, three-drug regimens like DCF or FLOT have better outcomes for advanced CS stomach, but they can be very toxic in Indian scenario. We have a paper from my colleagues from Bangalore and Kochi, and what they have done, they have studied the efficacy of FLOT in their own patients, and what they found that the 25% patients, that means 1 out of 4, have discontinuation after one cycle of chemotherapy due to toxicity. So they very clearly say that our patients, that means patients from India, they seem to have very poor tolerance to FLOT chemotherapy regimen with significant toxicity. Again, it requires chemoport or a PICC insertion that adds to expenses. So I will personally prefer to use a 2-drug regimen like Capox or Cis5 unless patient is fit for 3-drug regimen. Again, as I said, that less can be sometimes equal also. So I will choose my patients wisely for going for more aggressive therapies in a metastatic setting as compared to the so-called less aggressive therapies. Next point, I will use CTRT whenever feasible. This is from a medical oncologist that I'm saying that I will use CTRT whenever feasible. We all know this famous mathematics that FLOT is better than magic and magic is equal to cross. So most likely FLOT will be better than cross. Of course, the study that ISOPEC is awaited, but in India, I will use CTRT whenever feasible because giving radiotherapy is easier, cost-effective due to widespread reach of radiotherapy centers in interiors of India, thanks to the PMHLM, the helping hand, the radiotherapy including IGRT and MRT is covered under government schemes. In fact, corporate hospitals also can be free of cost for poor patients. So I will choose CTRT for G-junction cancers and locally advanced CS stomach. Same is probably true when choosing neoadjuvant treatment for rectal cancers. There is a lot of debate whether we should give neoadjuvant chemo versus neoadjuvant CTRT. But I will feel that neoadjuvant CTRT is more cost effective in India because radiation is probably free, and at least for the lower income patients. And chemo is most of the time either oral capecitabine for rectum or in radiotherapy, maybe cisplatin or paclitaxel based regimens. So I will use CTRT whenever that is feasible. So that is my third choosing wisely. Fourth, and very important, I will enroll all my patients into tumor board for multidisciplinary opinion. This is very important. The cancer care in India outside major institutions is not well organized. We see most of the cancer patients in India are not treated in big institutions like Tata or AIMS or for that matter big corporate hospitals. They are treated in nursing homes, trust hospitals, interior hospitals. Most of the smaller setups have no functional multidisciplinary tumor boards. Tumor boards are necessary to take decisions, especially in situations like CA colon with liver mets, where intent of treatment can be curative if planned properly. So planning and doing complete cytoreductive surgery at appropriate time is the single most vital factor for improvement of survival in operable GI cancers. And hence, I will try to enroll my patients in tumor boards, and whenever tumor board is not available, as Dr. Pramesh has shown, that the National Cancer Grid has started virtual tumor boards, and hence it can be a very good solution for those cancer centers which don't have own tumor boards. So we must encourage to enroll our patients into tumor board for multidisciplinary opinion. So that is my fourth takeaway. Fifth, of course, I will very clearly categorically say no to HIPEC for stomach and colorectal cancers. This is very simple. There is no data to show that HIPEC has improved DFS or OS in stomach or colorectal cancers. In fact, a recent phase 3 RCT like Prodigy 7, published in Lancet last year, has shown that it can be detrimental. There is one thing called as a benefit. There is another thing called as it can be potentially detrimental. It leads to significant financial toxicity with zero benefit in terms of survival to the patients. Unfortunately, and I would like to repeat this on this platform, there is no regulation for such surgical procedures in India, and we have HIPEC being done rampantly for GI cancers. Sometimes we jokingly say that we offer HIPEC for anything that is below diaphragm. So I hope this will change soon, and use of HIPEC will be restricted strictly as a part of clinical trial, if any. So this is my fifth takeaway. Sixth, of course, trastuzumab for GI cancer. Is that really, very good? See, trastuzumab in GI cancer is not same as trastuzumab in breast cancer. TOGA trial was published in 2010 when I was exam going resident. And it had how much benefit? Hardly around 6 to 8 weeks. Hazard ratio of 0.74. Even after 12 years, no trial has proven benefit of trastuzumab in adjuvant or neoadjuvant setting in stomach cancer. Probably HER2 pathway is not a driving pathway in stomach as that is in breast. So I will avoid using it in the resource constraint settings. And when I say I will avoid using trastuzumab, of course, there is no question of using the another me-too trastuzumab, that is pertuzumab. And hence, one has to be very wise as far as choosing the targeted drugs in GI cancers. The same is true for choosing cetuximab for colorectal cancer. Now, this entire data preference for cetuximab based on bevacizumab in the left-sided colon cancer is so controversial. If you go back to the story how this all left versus right started, if you understand, this is the only site in the entire body where we're supposed to treat left-sided tumor differently from right-sided. We don't treat left-sided breast cancer differently from right-sided breast cancer, or left-sided kidney cancer differently from the right-sided kidney cancer. But we wanted to do that. Why? Because in ASCO 14, they compared head-to-head trials, cetuximab versus bevacizumab. They initially shown that there is no difference. Then in 2015, they said that we are trying to find something retrospectively that one is working better on one side as compared to the other side. And by 2016, they created a niche for cetuximab, saying that probably it works better on one side. So, of course, those were Merck-sponsored trials. They wanted to create a niche. This is my take on that. But what is important is that data has shown there is not much difference between the two in KRAS wild type also. We have a recent publication of Cairo 5 update in ESMO this year, where bevacizumab is same as panitumumab. So, and what is more important is that bevacizumab is multiple generics available in India. Cost has significantly come down. It is almost 20% of cetuximab. And another important point, which I will probably most of the medical oncologists will agree, that we don't use the entire 15 milligram per kilogram dose in the real practice. We most of the time end up giving 7.5 mg to 10 mg kg, and still we have good results. Few of us are collaborating and compiling our data with bevacizumab, and probably we may get it published if everything goes well. So, point that I want to suggest is that whenever it is feasible, try to use bevacizumab or cetuximab for colorectal cancer for the reasons mentioned. Next, of course, I will avoid immunotherapy drugs in GI cancer unless high protein expression or MSI high. GI cancers are not as immune hot as melanoma or kidney cancers. This is only about the cancer. I'm not even an oncologist. The trials for all drugs in GI cancer in adjuvant and first-line setting have multiple issues: suboptimal control arms, clubbing of results of PD-L1 low expression with those of high expression, lack of appropriate post-progression therapy in control arm. So there are a lot of issues, and nothing can be better explained by the peculiar story of pembrolizumab for stomach cancer. It got accelerated approval in the third line setting, metastatic setting, in 2017 based upon a phase 2 single arm trial. After 4 years, that means they sat on it for 4 years, and July 21, the approval was withdrawn. And before the withdrawal, another approval was given in May 21, a new accelerated approval based in the first line metastatic setting, based on interim analysis of first 264 patients of Keynote 811, which is yet to be get published. The results are not full out, but the approval will be given. And that improvement also, unfortunately, is only for 4 weeks. So we don't know, maybe after 3 years, that also will be withdrawn. So one has to be very wise as far as the use of IL drugs in GI cancers. Now, the lot of talk is going on about low-dose IL. We have a very good publication from my friend Vijay Patil and Vanita Madam from TMH that we have low-dose nivolumab. We have some guidelines, also consensus guidelines where a lot of medical oncologists in India have come together to give pembrolizumab weight-based dosing of guidelines. We have ongoing data collection for low-dose use in various GI cancers. So I will try to encourage my patients to go on clinical trials for low-dose IO in case I feel that they are good candidates for it based upon the very high PD-1 expression of MSI high. Last, strictly no for circulating tumor cell DNA. We have a dynamic trial came in as ASCO 2022, and everybody wants to do circulating tumor cells. The first and foremost line, please understand, we do not have labs to do standardized ctDNA testing. Lot of our India people are not able to get how to circulating tumor DNA. So we don't know what to do with the results. Suppose we end up picking 1 cell versus 10 cells versus 100 cells. We don't know if we should treat patients early. If patients has say 1 ctDNA positive and no pathological progression, we have no answers. So ctDNA is strictly no outside clinical trials, and in fact, I will suggest that probably NMS like India do not even need such kind of a clinical trials in India. And last, I will keep my patients away from hype. This is an ASCO, the gift given by ASCO. Look at this is ASCO official post. Unprecedented. That means we have never seen 100% first 14. There are only 14 patients untreated with so-called dostarlimab, and immediately the Indian Express goes astonishing results. And then patients started asking, where is this drug? Where is this drug? And unfortunately, everybody with cancer, cancer started asking for this drug. So we have to, ASCO has to be less flashy. We cannot have, we have to explain to patients that saying that is too premature. We need to wait for more years. Such drug, if at all, will make a difference, that is very small. Only how many patients of colorectal cancer MSI have? Only 3 to 4%. And what is most important, it is not yet conclusively proven that PCR correlates with overall survival. If we want, what is the fund of PCR? That we feel that if there is no residual disease left there, probably survival will be better. I always tell, as a joke, that what is the best drug to have in one shot, 0 cells at the local site? Any guess? That drug is surgery. Yes, that drug is surgery. If you want to have 100% PCR and in one shot, in the less cost, do surgery. So, thank you. So, line of distinction between science of oncology and commerce of oncology is very thin. It's the job of the oncologist to keep guiding the patient across that narrow path. And probably that's where the art of oncologist lies. And this is exactly how the patient is going to be in a low-resource country like India. And the oncologist standing down has to guide the patient properly so that he goes from one end to the other end. Thank you.